Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Be Like Bread speaker series, Connect, Engage, Learn. Today, our special guest is Peterson Pierre. He's originally from Kenskoff, Haiti, and he is a Toastmaster, a freelancer, a translator, a singer, an avid reader, and a traveler. He's here to speak to the kids. Without further ado, Mr. Peterson Pierre.
Hello, Bernie. Hello, kids. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming, Peterson.
Yes, it's my honor to be part of this show, this podcast.
Yeah. So do you want to tell the kids a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely, yes. You already gave an idea about you already gave a short bio about myself, but I would like to add a few things. I need to tell you that I would like to start off with this quote that I found in a book once. The author said that at birth, we receive good gene or bad genes, good DNA or bad DNA, great resources, great parents, or nothing at all. But ultimately, it is our job and responsibility to do our very best with what we have. Does that make sense to you? With a show of hands.
Yes.
Oh, great. So during my childhood, I need to tell you that most of the time of my life, I've spent it with my father. My mother mostly was not around, and I've spent very little time with both my parents together because it seems that things were not very well between the two of them. And eventually, my mother left. She's alive, of course, but she left my father. And I was maybe 3 years old or 4 years old, I don't remember. So my father had to raise me alone, okay? And, but nevertheless, my childhood did not have anything special in it, but it was not that bad. But one of the worst moments in my life I can remember is during the trade embargo in Haiti. You were not born yet at that time. You were not born. Do you know what a trade embargo is?
No.
Do you have any idea? Okay, a trade embargo is like when countries who usually would export product would refuse to sell you anything. Like for now, Haiti buys oils, foods, and other products from countries such as the United States and the Dominican Republic. Now imagine that the Dominican Republic and the United States would decide not to sell anything to Haiti, or any other country would decide not to sell anything to Haiti. This is what we call a trade embargo. Does that make sense? So during that time, things were very tough for many citizens, but for my family as well. It was so tough that for me to go to school, my school was located like 6 kilometers or about 3 miles away, and I had to walk every day to go there because the little money that my father would give me, it would be either that I pay transportation with it or that I would eat it. So, you know, if I go to school, I gotta eat something. So I had to use that money as little as it was to eat something. It was a very difficult time. But after months and probably years, I would say, I saw my father changing the situation around. He stopped struggling and things started to change for him. So this is where I've learned, started to learn. At that time, I didn't know it. that it's not really your past that defines your future, but it's really your vision. So I'll start by defining. I know you know what past means. You know what past means, right? You show of hands. Are you with me? Do you understand? Oh, you do. Okay, good. So I'll define what vision means. Vision, according to the Macmillan Dictionary, is the ability to think about and plan for the future using intelligence and imagination, especially in politics and business or in life in general. So it's about the ability to think about and plan for the future. So how does that relate to me or to anyone else? Now, at one point in my life, I must have been 16 or 17 years old. I've written down a few goals for myself. I said, for instance, that at 25, I would buy a car, I would travel, and I would do different things. I didn't know how I would do it because at that time I didn't have anything that would make that happen. My father did not have a car. My father, did not travel, but I've written these things down. And you know what? It happened, really. It really happened. At the age of 23, I started to work in the NGO. And in that job, I found myself in a very good situation, and I could travel for the first time at age 25. I really bought my first car during that age. Things were working, but it was not yet the life that I wanted. So I've been advised by people I know, by friends with more experience, things to do. For instance, one of the things that I've been advised was to go in a country, in a developing country, not the United States or Canada or Europe, but in a developing country. So I've decided to go to the Dominican Republic to live for a while there. My goal in living in the Dominican Republic was really to challenge myself. And since I've always been close to parents or people who could help me, I needed to see if I don't have any money, I don't have any resources, what would happen. And I went there, I found a job, I've learned things about customer care, I've learned things about sales, I've learned things about how to live alone, mostly. And it was a great experience. I think I've experienced a lot of growth in the Dominican Republic. But one day, a friend, a colleague came to me and he said, that was after the earthquake in Haiti. The earthquake happened in Haiti. He said, Peterson, what are you doing here? When I tried to respond, I could not find any clear response because it seems that my time was over in the Dominican Republic. It was time for me to do something else. And I decided to return, to come back home. So I came back. I need to tell you that my expectation was that I would find a job right away, but it didn't happen that way. It was very difficult. I've sent resumes and CVs everywhere, but things did not work out. I could not find a job. Eventually, I found a job in an NGO, and I started to work there, mostly using language skills. I was a translator and interpreter, and I was in charge of implementing the project itself. Every time that they had something to do, I was the person in charge to do it. So with that, once my contract was over with this NGO, I've decided to start officially as a translator and interpreter. I found jobs here and there as I started to work with an agency, a translation agency, but things did not work out very well as they would not pay on time, and there was some disagreement between the owner, the leaders of that agency, and not only myself, but the other employees. So I left and I started to fly on my own, to be independent completely. Still, things did not work out very well. Okay, I could make a living, but it was not that extraordinary. So one day, as I was listening to Tony Robbins is an author, he's a speaker. I don't know if you know him, if you're familiar with Tony Robbins. Okay, very good. As a matter of fact, I met Bernie and Tony Robbins event. The first time I met him was volunteering as a volunteer in a Tony Robbins event. So I was listening to Tony Robbins, and he has this program that is called the time of your life. In this program, he explains the way to set goals, to define a clear vision for yourself. And I've decided to give it a try. It was around November 2012. And I took the time, I took a notebook, I defined clearly what I wanted. One of the goals that I set for myself was to attend a seminar in the United States. Was Unleash the Power Within by Tony Robbins. I set a goal to attend that seminar. But you want to know something? I didn't have any money. I didn't have a visa to go. I didn't have anything. But I said, okay, you got to do something. I visited Tony's website, and I found that they offered a complimentary coaching, meaning a free coaching session. So, okay, let's go for it. I signed up for the coaching session, 40 minutes, I think 45 minutes to speak with somebody. And the guy called me. He said, okay, what's your outcome? What is it that you want? I tell him that I would like to attend Unleash the Power Within. He asked me about my resources, what would I need to do that? I tell him the budget for attending this seminar would be around $2,000. He asked me, how much money you have? I said, I have about $1,000. After I lied, because I didn't have that money. I might have had maybe $200, no more than that. But I told him that I had $1,000. And he said, okay, so let's draw a game plan to make sure that you attend that seminar. And he said, what would you need? What is the mean of contact to your clients? He asked me to send emails, that many emails per day to reach clients. I can tell you that after about a week from speaking to the guy, I attracted so many opportunities, job opportunities, that I felt overwhelmed and overloaded because I had too much work to do to be able to complete on my own. But I wanted to attend the Unleash the Power Within on March of 2013. Since the money came a little bit too late, I scheduled to begin that, to attend that seminar on July 2013 for the first time. And you want to know what else? I said that I had about $200 on my bank account. Guess what? I signed up for the coaching to get a coach. And you know how much that costed at that time? $4,000 and $500. Where did I get that money? Something changed in me, and I started to attract more opportunities. And I said to myself, if in 40 minutes, the guy could give me insights to attract so many opportunities, what would happen if I would have a coach? And I decided to have a coach, and I didn't have to pay the money in one installment. I signed up to pay in 2 installments. So a first $2,250, and then a second installment. But to make a long story short, the seminar that I wanted to attend was part of the coaching session. So I attended the seminar for free. And in a way, for free, but I had to pay for my plane tickets. I removed my visa, and I went. It was a great experience attending the seminar. 4 days with 5,000 people, and I've learned so much. But besides attending the seminar, later on, I had my coach waiting for me. I would ask him questions. He would tell me, okay, what is it that you want? We would have discussion, we would talk. And yes, I can tell you that ever since that I took the time and draw my vision and my goals from listening to Tony Robbins, my life has never been the same. Of course, there are highs and lows. At times, things are not as great as they could be. At times, I can be sick. But the way that I was broke the day before I draw the plane is gone. It's no longer the same thing. So this is simply to tell you that if I am talking directly to you, wherever you are now does not define your reality. Your reality will be defined by your vision of the future. What is it that you want for your life? Would you like to become a doctor, an agronomist, a speaker, an author, a trainer? It's entirely up to you. If you draw that vision, you create that vision, and then you work at it, you can become whatever you want. Because after all, of course, your past is important, but it doesn't define your future. Your vision does. Now, if you really want to, but before I conclude, now, like it was said in the introduction, I am a freelance translator. I still work as a freelance translator, but I am a Toastmaster. I have reached the highest level in Toastmaster, which is distinguished Toastmaster, which requires to cover the entire program that allows you to speak. You learn a lot and you connect with people from around the globe. As a freelance translator, I am being contacted by people from everywhere in the world, people from the UK to the United States, from India. I receive messages, calls from people everywhere. And as a singer, I do that as part-time. This is something that I like. I don't do it full-time, but I get to sing sometimes. And it is something that I like. And I spend a lot of my time reading a lot, as it's a very good way to improve, to grow on a daily basis or on a regular basis. So really, the last thing that I say before ending, really concluding, is this proverb that is my favorite, one of my favorite. It is said that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to do it is today. It's not too early for you to set some goals for yourself, but do not wait to do it. You haven't done it maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago. You can do it today. And this set of goals or vision will define your future you want to have. Now, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to respond.
Wow, thank you so much, Peterson. That was great. Let's give him a round of applause, guys. Very good. All right. Well, I saw that Chantel, that she was able to join. Thank you for jumping on the call too. And my first question for you, Peterson, is what was the moment, what was the turning point that started you on your personal development journey? What was the moment?
That is actually a very good question. I think one of the moments in my life where I started being in touch with personal development was when I started to work in a formal setting and the NGO. I met the mentor there was part of Amway, and she introduced me with not only Amway, of course, to sell product, but the books of personal development that goes along with being part of a multi-level marketing company.
Right.
So yeah, I started to read those books. I discovered many authors, but at the same time, I can say that it was mostly a hobby at that time. I didn't really take it very seriously at that time.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So I have one more follow-up question, and then I hope some kids down at Britt's home will ask you a couple of questions too. And you're more than welcome. You can answer this in Creole if you want. But what is the best advice that you ever received?
I cannot say that I've received one piece of advice. I think I've received many advice, but I would like to share two of them. The first one, I got it from another mentor of mine. And it was the moment I was going to the Dominican Republic. And she said, it's the right time for you to make mistakes. Because if ever you fall, we can still stand up. In a way, the advice she gave was encouraging me to make mistakes, encouraging me to face my fear, encouraging me to go beyond my comfort zone. So that was the first piece of advice. But the other one is I wrote it. I read it from a book by Paulo Coelho. It's the story instead. There's this guy who wanted always to work as he worked with iron. He working with iron, he builds different shapes and forms, different things. And that's what he really wanted to do. But before that, he was a chemist. He was working in the chemistry, the chemical industry. So he started to work there, things were difficult, but then he explains that anytime he's given metal to build something, to build a part, a car parts or whatever it is, he takes the piece of metal, he places it in an oven, and then heat it as much as it can. Then he take his heaviest hammer and hit it until it takes the shape that he wants. But he said that not all the metals, right after that, after hitting it with the hammer, he plunged it in some cold water. And then he has to repeat that same process over and over again. But he said that not all the metal can resist this treatment. Some of them got the stroke. And he said that he realizes that life is somewhat similar to that process. That at times he feels that the challenges, the obstacle, I like the heat of the oven. And sometimes the blows he gets from friends, from other setback are like the hammer blows. And then, the desperation are so cold as the water, he plunges them better. But he said, God, I'll pray you, please. Never throw me on the pile of useless metal. So that was, one of the deepest lessons that I've learned. Because as long as you can continue, no matter how many times you can fall down, if you can stand up and keep going, then there's hope for you to reach your goal. So these are two, I can say the best piece of advice I ever received.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. All right, kids, who's up first? Anybody have any questions for Peterson? Thank you, Maxon.
Hello, Peterson. My name is Malson. My question is, why should someone be development?
Oh, could you repeat the question, Maxon, please?
Why should someone be a self-development?
Why someone should get involved with personal development? Is that your question?
He wants to know why would someone be interested in doing self-development, personal development?
Okay.
Oh, why? Okay, with someone. Can I answer? Can I respond in Haitian Creole as well?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, nous avons pensé de parler créole, donc nous prenons créole ça. Nous prenons question ça en créole. Although I'll give a version in English as well, maybe for the viewer, Rennie, if it's okay.
Please do Creole. That's great. It's for them.
Yeah, sure. Bon, raison qui fait l'important ou bien nécessaire pour mon monde impliqué dans le développement personnel, développement de tout, c'est parce que grâce à ça, on est capable d'apprendre des bagages qu'on ne peut pas apprendre. En fait, pour m'illustrer ça en façon plus simple, ça fait partie de la vie nous-mêmes. Développement personnel, il y a un métier comme bagage à part, comme si soit les livres, sur développement personnel, soit dans séminaire, c'est développement personnel. Mais si vous regardez la réalité, j'en ai fait. Développement fait partie de vie nous-mêmes. Gardez un petit bébé. Là, il n'a pas appris à marcher au commencement. Il apprend, il lever. Ce n'est pas parent qui dit qu'il faut marcher, mais il essayer, il tomber, il râler, il continue jusqu'à ce qu'il marche. Mais là, nous arrivons dans un moment, nous pratiquement suspendons apprendre, comme si nous n'avons pas de même curiosité. Peut-être après, on finit d'apprendre un métier, ou bien on finit de faire classe, ou on dit, bon, on va tenir les livres, on va tenir faire rien. Ça va pas bon. Mais si vous voulez continuer, développement personnel, t'as chemin, côté commencer depuis petit bébé, c'est chemin ça, on doit et continuer et cultiver, développer. C'est ça qui fait l'important pour nous tous nous faire. C'est ça qui fait nous atteindre le niveau potentiel que nous avons besoin de. Par contre, si vous répondez dessus. OK, merci, Maxo.
I do just want to make one clarification. So girls, personal development is not just for guys. I know you've only heard about personal development from me and Peterson and Tony Robbins, but there is some amazing women in this industry. I've learned so much from Renee Brown and Amy Cuddy and so many others. So it's not just a male-dominated industry by any means. So it's definitely something for everyone. And you got to, as Peterson was talking about, you just got to find your mentor. We all have a mentor. And you just go find yours. And it could be from a YouTube video. It could be from you Googling something. It could be from listening to music or whatever it may be, podcasts. And you find someone that you really identify with, and you just start from there. So those are the couple of ladies that I've learned, women that I've learned from on the internet and whatnot. So anybody else have, how about someone from the front row, the third row? Who else has questions for Peterson? Benit, please. Oh, Dave, going in hot.
Hello. I want to know what kind of advice would you like to give us to build our personal development?
Okay, it's a very good question. Thank you. And your name is Dave, right?
Yes.
Dave, okay, good. Okay, you have any preference in me responding in Haitian Creole or English?
Whatever you want to do, Peterson. I'm game for any way.
Good. Okay. So the piece of advice I would like to give you would be, if you want to start in the journey of personal development, one thing you can do is you can start by writing down some goals for yourselves, setting some goals, things that you would like to accomplish in your life. It's a very early stage for all of you, since you are very young. Then you can set some goals, things that you would like to achieve in 1 year, things that you would like to achieve in 2 years and 5 years. That is one thing. The other thing would be to find some great books. There are many authors out there, many great authors. One of my recommendations would be, for instance, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, which is very great classic. Pensez et devenez riche, it's the title in French, in case you read French. And this book, basically most of the other authors of personal development said what is already said in that book. That would be a very good start. Another book that I would recommend would be by Dale Carnegie, How to Make Friends and Influence People. You know, it's a very good classic. I think I've read it at a very early age, and it's a very good book giving you insights on how to communicate with other people, how to influence others. And these are a very good start. So I would repeat, writing down some goals for yourselves, things you would like to accomplish. And even in your day-to-day life, you would like to say, okay, in the next 3 months, I would like to realize this or that. And if it's possible, although this is not too obvious, but playing a musical instrument can also be personal development. You could set that as a goal, to learn that as a skill. Playing a musical instrument, learning a new skill, for instance, maybe programming or another competency, art craft. These are personal development goals you could set for yourself. Did I answer your question, Dave?
That was great. So Benit had a question, and then I would really appreciate if someone from the back that's hiding, like Job or Dude Me, Shirley, or Nana, or all four of you, someone in the back could ask a question after Benit. I'd appreciate that. Miss Benit?
Hello.
Yes. Hi.
Did you have a role model?
A role model. Oh, that is a very good question. Actually, I had a few role models. I had a few, not only one, I had a few role models. Let's say that when I started my journey, I think one person that, I'll tell you, I had, I said I had many role models. I sat with my father. My father taught me to be independent at work. He would always say, oh, learn to work by yourself, learn to be independent. I think he has really paved the way for me to be able to work on my own, to be independent. That is my first role model. Besides, he taught me how to work. I started to work at a very early age, thanks to my father. I mean, with my father, of course, that he was my first role model. At a later stage, when I started to work in the NGO, I met two mentors, two models. The first one was Fritzi Leroy. Fritzi Leroy is the one who introduced me to Amways or to personal development, pushing me to read books and encouraging me to do things, encouraging me to go beyond my comfort zone. And I wanted to be like her in many ways. So she was my second role model. And the third one was Dominique Pierre. Dominique Pierre mostly taught me about healthcare. She said, when I was working at the NGO, we would often have banquets where there would be a lot of food available. He would say, Peterson, do not eat too much. Do not drink soft drinks. Do not do this, do not do that. Because she said that 25 is the peak of your youth. So if you do not start to be careful at a later age, you will suffer a lot of disease. That's what she taught me. And at that time, I started to avoid many different things, and I have continued to work out. To this day, I not only watch what I eat, but I work out. I take care of myself. So these are, I can mention them. They are not the only one, of course, but these are 3 examples of role model that I have. And I've learned a specific skill from each one of them.
Peterson, Benit is part of our transition program, which is kind of off campus. It's on its own dedicated piece of land, dedicated section of the campus. And one thing that we emphasize with the transition children or young adults is we want them to be role models, because even when they don't think someone's watching, and we really want them to lead by example, do by action, not by words. And so I think that's where that question stems from. So thank you, Benit. How about anybody in back? Joe, Mackinlove, Dude Me, Shirley, anybody else hiding near Mummy Love? Okay, someone, I saw one hand. You want to? Yep. Okay. Is that Lubens? Hey, Lubens.
Hi, my question is, are you the owner of Toastmaster?
The offer, well, Toastmaster has been created a long time ago. Toastmaster has been founded by Ralph Smedley in America in 1924, with the intention to help people to raise toast. He observed that a lot of the youths at that time very frightened when it comes to speak in public and to raise a toast at a wedding or any special meeting. So it started Toastmaster. That's the name, Toastmaster. And I became a Toastmaster myself in 2012. So it's been 10 years since I am a Toastmaster. Toastmaster is an international organization that uses a learn by doing training style, meaning that you learn, but you do what you learn. You practice what you learn. It's not theory. I mean, you read it, of course, but you have to do it mostly. So what can I say? I am, of course, I'm a distinguished Toastmaster, a member of 3 different clubs, 2 in Haiti and 1 based in Canada. but I am not the author. Like I said, Toastmaster was founded in 1924, and I'm still young, so I joined Toastmaster, I believe. But I think it would be a good, very good thing for you a little bit in the future, since Toastmaster accepts young people starting 18 years old. You need to be 18 years old to start with Toastmaster. But we have youth program where people can join earlier. So this would be also an opportunity for you, if, you know, to learn a little more about it. Yeah, this is what I can say about Toastmaster.
Beautiful. Do we have one more? One more question? Come on. Don't be shy. Dude me. Shirley. Mac and Love. Someone. Hiding way back.
Love has a question,
Okay.
and I-
All right, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
You might have to stand up and speak louder.
Oh, vous parlez que ou créole vous parlez. Répétez, bâton, tapez ces temps en anglais ou dit en créole sur Non, bâton, non, dis-le pour moi encore, s'il te plaît. Puis, quoi expérience vous fait dans la vie?
Oui.
Oh, ok. Yeah, bon, ma répondre sur ça en créole. En fait, il y a un livre que m'a lu là, qui est The Power of Moments. Dans le livre, ça a expliqué que la vie, c'est pas tant qu'un gros ligne pour tout événement fait pour seul coup. C'est plutôt, c'est petit événement, c'est moment de préférence. OK? C'est moment avant. Expérience, c'est même genre. Ça veut dire que si on a dit que c'est moment, il y a un pile d'expérience. Je ne vais pas dire qu'il y a un pico, il y a un petit. Même faire un pile. Par exemple, une expérience que moi fait, et peut-être que Bernie fait une expérience, c'est la première fois que j'ai assisté au séminaire de moi et que l'homme arrivé dans journée jour ça, moi je parler de toute histoire de journée. Normalement, séminaire a fait Chicago. Donc, monter un vol pour Miami, et comme des vol bonheur, des vol à 6 heures du matin, depuis 4 heures, je me suis posé la porte. Il a dit beaucoup manger. Levé depuis 3 heures du matin pour manger. À 3 heures du matin, levé, dans vol là. Pendant que l'avion, comme pas de manger ou pas de manger, moi acheté un sandwich, qui c'est seul bagage de manger. Joie, maintenant, moi arrivé à Chicago vers midi, gonzan même qui vient prendre, moi aller dans l'hôtel, moi aller inscrire dans la conférence, dans le séminaire. Le premier dans le séminaire, moi dis tête moi bon aller pause m'a manger, je m'a bail pause. Gangou a tué, gangou. 1 heure, senti gangou, 2 heures, gangou, 3 heures, gangou. Gangou, pas moi-même. À 4 heures, je ne pas gangou en fait. 5 heures, je ne pas penser à gangou encore bon, jusqu'à ce que le séminaire à minuit, c'est-à-dire pas jamais de pause. Bagay la continuer, mais il faut me dire que y a toute qualité de bagay dans le séminaire. Il y a danser, crier, voler en l'air, jouer, apprendre. Pile en pile bagay. À minuit, moi je pense que tout bagay en forme. Moi, on affiche un du feu sur l'écran. Et puis, on dit, c'est, nous allons marcher sur du feu ça. Je dis, moi-même, je ne pas penser de mal dans ça. Et puis, ça qui arrive, nous sortis dehors, je n'ai pas intention de marcher sur du feu, non? Je dis nous ça. Et là, je regarde, moi, Timoun 8 ans, qui marche sur du feu, je dis, ah non, là, pas le choix, je vais faire ça. Et puis, je allé, me mettre courage sur moi, je marcher sur du feu. Alors, ça, c'est une expérience. Ce n'est pas la seule expérience comme belle expérience. Ça, c'est une belle. So,
Awesome. So Poppy, Mackinlove asked a question in Creole. So Peterson answered in Creole. Peterson, this is my dad. This is Poppy Lynn.
Hey, Peterson,
No,
thank you so much. You're
it's
so
my
gracious. You're so gracious to share with our children. So wonderful. Mac and Love. Where is Mac and Love?
He's hiding in back.
Oh, okay. Very good. What was your question, Mac and Love?
The question was, what is his biggest experience in life?
Wonderful. Okay. Very good. And Peterson, these are the best of our best here and the oldest in the house. So they've come so far in the last 10 years. It's amazing, quite frankly. So I hear wonderful things about you from Bernie, and I wanted to come on to thank you and spending time with us. And someday we'd love to have you come in person out to visit Britt's home. We would love that. That would be so nice.
Yeah, it would be my pleasure.
Okay.
Yes, I can definitely do that because I'm based in Haiti. So
Yes.
yeah, anytime.
That's wonderful. And I have a question. How are you doing running a business while living in Haiti? How is that going for you?
Well, one decision that I made many years ago was to make sure that most of my clients are based outside of the country.
Okay.
Of course, I do have a few clients here in Haiti, but I made the decision to attract mostly clients from outside. That way I would be independent and be able to work from wherever I am. And I think it was a wise decision. Why? Because I think, was it 4 years ago when we had the first lockdown, it came very obvious to me that, man, you were right to do that. At that time, we were stuck at home 3 months at a time. That was way before the pandemic, but I could still work. I could still work and earn some money while I was still at home, So this is one of my greatest decision, and I think this is how I do it basically. So I try to attract people mostly outside, and due to the fact that I have my profile set on some platform dedicated entirely for translators and interpreters, that way I can be visible for wherever, without any problem.
So, Peterson, you're able to make US dollars by working globally while living in Haiti. So you are the proof. You are the proof in what Poppy has been preaching, Bernie and Poppy, Tonton and Poppy, what we have been preaching for the last 7 or 8 years. So you are the proof in the pudding, as we say in English. So congratulations. I love that. So, and kids, I want you to stay seated. Poppy wants to have a few words with you when Peterson and Bernie are done, okay?
Yeah, I just want, Peterson, can you just explain to them, and you can do this in Creole if you would like to, but I don't think they know what a freelancer is. Can you just explain that to them, please?
Yes, sure. Bon, il m'a expliqué qui ça est. Normalement, freelancer a veut dire, c'est pratiquement un métier indépendant. C'est ça qui vaut freelancer. Indépendant dans le sens que on travaille avec, ou peut-être pas. Moi-même, moi, fais traduction avec interprétation, mais freelancer ou bien indépendant, il a droit pour n'importe quel métier. Que vous avez droit son programmeur, vous avez droit son informaticien ou consultant, n'importe quel métier, pourvu que vous travaillez avec tête, c'est vous qui décidez horaire. Alors, bien entendu, avec accord client, parce que si client vient côté comme ça que il a besoin de travailler ça dans 2 jours, et dans 2 jours, à Bali. Depuis nous d'accord, nous entendons sur horaire, et c'est ça. Mais principalement, concept freelancer, c'est indépendance. Dans le cas moi travaille la caille, moi, un service que moi offre. Moun qui est intéressé avec service, yo contacte, yo dit yo gen tel bagay, tel projet que vous voulez réaliser dans 2 jours, dans 3 jours, dans 4 jours. Nous d'accord sur un prix, nous d'accord sur date là, sur temps ça fait, hein? Et puis moi fait travail là. Mais j'aimerais dire ça comme moi, c'est traducteur, il n'est pas applicable seulement pour traduction, il est applicable pour un paquet d'autres métiers encore qui actuellement qu'on pratique à distance. C'est ça, ça veut dire. Par contre, si bien défini, si vous comprenez bien, si ça clair pour nous tous, on a dit oui ou bien non, mes amis. Les clair ou bien? Oh, okay. They confirmed it was clear.
Well,
I love it. Wonderful.
thank you, Peterson. We can't thank you enough. How about we give him one more round of applause? Well, thank you so much, Peterson. Once again, this was the Connect, Engage, Learn Speaker Series from Be Like Brit. We'd like to thank everybody for listening in. We hope everyone has a great day. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode on Connect, Engage, Learn. We really appreciate your time, and we'd like to thank our speaker and our guests and the kids down in Haiti for being so attentive. And we wanted you to know that if you would also like to be a speaker and to meet our kids, you can go to belikebrit.org/speaker. Once again, it's just www.belikebrit.org/speaker.